Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Saturdays with Tara Hangout on Air. I'm Mary Beth at the Law of Attraction Club. We do these Saturday Hangouts as our intro to the 3 conference calls we do each week, mostly with our members, but once or twice a month, we open the call up to our free guest membership level. There's a link on your screen that will get you to our subscription page if you'd like to get invites to these calls. Robin usually channels for the Saturday call. I usually do the Tuesday call, and Rachel does Thursdays. Sometimes all 3 of us channel on the calls together. That's so much fun, of course, but more importantly and powerfully, in this community, you get 3 slightly different perspectives, yet with the same understanding. For those of you watching the recorded video, we'll be adding pop-up links with more information about us and how you can access the complete audio of the extended call with questions and answers. So once again, we welcome you, and we welcome Robin and Tara. So let's get started.
Welcome. As we head into 2016, there's a lot going on in this community, and it feels a lot like renewal. So we thought now would be a good time to start over to some extent and put some of this content into a more logical sequence. And then maybe even put a book together. So here we are at the introduction. All of you, without exception, are seeking to create more joy in your lives. The short answer to how you do that is always choose the better feeling thought. The slightly longer version is you create every single thing, wanted or unwanted, by what you choose to believe about those single things. When you feel good, you're creating what you want. When you feel bad, you're creating what you don't want. Nothing is more important than choosing that better feeling thought. And that, for most of you, raises a whole lot of questions. And then we need to start getting into who you are and why you're here and what this thing called the law of attraction is anyway, and how and when it works, and how you can use it to attract more of what you want into your life. So that's where we're going to go over these next few weeks and months. As this community was in its early formative stages, this one began to read some of the gazillion stories that are out there that attempt to answer those questions about the nature of heaven and earth, about things non-physical and things physical. Many of those stories are incredibly detailed and complex, and many of them are contradictory. And so it became the particular mission of this group to be clear on what is fundamental, to discover the story-less foundation that sits beneath all of it, and to come from a place of absolute truth. So we'll be defining what we call the absolutes. These are the fundamental things about which you are not a choice. And once we've defined what you can't choose, then what's left defines what you can choose, everything else. As you might expect, none of this is complex. It's elegantly simple. It is, if you like, the theory of everything. This is where we'll start, and where we'll stay, and where we'll finish. Because when you come from that place, it is simple, and all questions can be answered in simple terms. And when you come from that place, you can go wherever you want to go, powerfully, surely, and confidently. Recognizing this, Those leading this community have taken as their mission to get to the simple and fundamental truth that sits beneath every story. Because if you can avoid complexity and come from that storyless place, you can most easily step in any direction you want to go. And as their understanding has evolved, so has the way we collaboratively express things. Having said that, clearly there's nobody who can, including us, who can tell you what to believe. Take what makes sense to you. Take what feels good to you. Leave the rest. Your emotions are key. They are your guidance system. When you're feeling good, you're heading in the direction of your desires. Nothing is more important. Now, we know that for those of you who have spent a lifetime thinking of the world as out there, as a shared world you have to deal with, then some of this may at first seem to be difficult to get your head around. These ideas are very different ways of looking at things, but we encourage you not to see different as complex and hard to understand. It's not. It's just different. And it truly is simple. You don't have to suspend logic. It's all completely logical and understandable. It's just that it can take a while for you to settle into new ways of seeing things. So you allow yourself time to explore these ideas. You'll find that once you've got it, there's no going back. Let's begin. The absolutes. We'll start here by asking you to go within and take a few minutes here to mentally step outside the here and now you and think a little about who you are at your essence. Go back through that thought tunnel to the core of who you are. Allow yourself to get a sense of the enormity of who you are. The absolutes. You are a consciousness. You are timeless and spaceless. You're an always connected extension of the collective consciousness that is the source of everything. Your desires and choices define you. Your desires and choices sculpt you out of the clay of all that is. 3, you and your context are one. As you make a new choice, you and your matching context change. 4, apart from 1, 2, and 3 above, you are always at choice, which means you and your context are always changing. And let's be clear about who we mean by you. We're not talking a collective group of you. We're talking about the individual thinking entity that is you. When you make a new choice, you create a new version of you and a new context. Now let's start to move back down that thought tunnel, that connection you have to your here existence. And along the way is what you might call your higher self and your subconscious self. Just recognize that these are part of that stream. Now let's come back into this space and time. We won't call it reality. Let's call it what it is, your context. It's a virtual reality. If you like, it's the stage you've created on which to have your experiences. Your experiences are in the realm of consciousness of thought. Your experiences are real. This world of yours is virtual. What this translates to is what you call the law of attraction. You attract into your experience, moment by moment, unique to you, wanted or unwanted, the sum of your chosen conscious and subconscious beliefs and expectations. Are you beginning to see that calling it a law does not do it justice? It's absolutely fundamental to everything. But in this one's world, law of attraction is what it's called. And so we'll call it that. Over the next few weeks and months, we'll be expanding on all of this. We'll be covering the importance of your feelings. And we'll be talking more about the way in which these absolutes translate into ways in which you can start to choose more of the things that you want. Because that's the bottom line, is it not? And now we'll move to our longer discussion and your questions.
If you've been live with us on this Hangout, our discussion continues now on our conference line. You're welcome to join us and bring your questions and comments. Use the number on your screen. If you're watching the recorded video, click the pop-up links on your screen for more info about us and the audio of the full call. Remember to press *6 on your handset if you have a question or comment.